This is Jay Michaels, and I got to tell you, the movie that you just saw, I thought I could do the math. I've been doing this a long time, and I thought I can do the math on all movies. I can see it, and I know what's going to happen. There are times I'm sitting there with my arms folded watching a movie and go, okay, oh, I see. Oh, no, she's going to, and then he's going to, okay, not a problem. And it always comes true. I was screaming at the top of my lungs when I got to the end of this movie. I had no idea. I said, I got to meet these people. I got to meet these people. This was a fabulous movie. And the reveal, we have with us the director, Larnell Stovall. Is it Stovall or Stovall?
Stovall.
Stovall. I was right the first time. Look at that.
Oh, good.
And the brilliant Ellen Hallman, who was Margaret and gave us that amazing reveal. Folks, it's great to meet you. Great to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
My pleasure. Great film. Tell us about it. Tell us about the metamorphosis of Margaret.
Well, this is Larnell's love child, so I'll let him initiate the conversation here. He was the ever brilliant director behind this.
Oh, stop it. It's funny, this idea was festering for actually a few years. Now to segue into another one, which is I actually did a Panthro short as well. Yes, I did a Panthro short. I've been keeping them low key, haven't been promoting them too much, and I use it as a introduction to this world. But after that one, I learned a lot from that experience concerning storytelling, condensing things, and where I would go next, because, I'm a huge fan of Thundercats. And I was thinking of what's the best way to introduce it to a modern day audience with all the expectations and intelligence we have now concerning cinema, where people either analyze things or call things out. The storytelling is not tight. And I like twists from directors like Jordan Peele. He's one of the guys I really look up to concerning the way he puts together storytelling where you really can't tell what's coming, and you have to stay focused and take every twist and turn, every bit of information you get. So I wanted that same approach to this story. I named our character Margaret, and I wanted to make sure I kept promoting that name, that you never knew what was coming, never knew what was going to happen, didn't know, what the twist and turns was with this. I want you to be invested in her and not the possibility of what was coming up. And I think we did a great job in that, because people really took to it. And I kept hearing from other people that, hey, until that reveal, I was thinking it was this, and I really wanted to see what was happening with her in the bathroom. And when she walked out, I didn't know. And it is so funny that if she didn't change into who she changed into, it still could have went in another direction and been something totally different, which made it even better that it turned into that. Yeah.
The plot line that you've given it, Thundercats is of that fun era, the immediately they take flight sort of superhero sort of thing, but you went really dark on this. You went psychological dark.
I kind of had no choice. Here's why. Look, I'm in the industry. I'm growing into the title director, if you want to call it that, through years of stunt coordinating, second unit directing. And, it's somehow an evolution for some of us nowadays, based off of amazing directors and mentors like Chastahowsky, Dave Leitch, J.J. Perry, a good buddy of ours, Sam Hargrave, is killing it right now with Extraction and Extraction 2. So stepping into that pool, I feel like you have to be a great storyteller first. And the way you become a great storyteller, in my opinion, is create your own stories before someone gives you one that you have to express. Dig within and create your own world. And this was crazy for me because this was the first time I wrote something. So very intimidating. It's one thing to have it up here. It's another thing to put it on paper and say, okay, will actors take to this? Will they enjoy it? Will they be along for the ride? Will they care if this is a Thundercat surprise reveal? And fortunately, I was grateful to find an amazing actress who not only brought this to life, but did so much more than what was on the page, from creativity to helping produce it, to going way above and beyond. I even think she cooked sandwiches one day for everybody on the crew.
A lot of hats. You know, I like to wear different hats, you know, depending upon what my outfit is. Lots of different hats.
Ellen, I'm glad I'm glad Larnell saved me 10 minutes of giving a segue to you here. But I would be remiss to not say that you were absolutely brilliant in this. Totally compelling, totally a unique character. You really delved into the drama of the pretext of all of this. How was it to create this character? You're basically this iconic superhero-esque character, and yet you had to almost forget all of that and create yet another character on top of it. How was it to build this role?
Well, fortunately, I'm not a stranger to having to fill iconic shoes. I have to bring myself to it. I recently just resurrected Trinity in Matrix Resurrections, so that of course was pretty big shoes to fill, and numerous characters prior to that, and over the course of 20 years. So there is the pressure, the outstanding pressure of wanting to live up to this iconic expectation. However, you want to put your own flavor on it. You want to put your own twist on it, things that the audience didn't yet anticipate. Therefore, they can't really compare or contrast from that standpoint. And with Chitara, her being such a ferocious, fiery, strong woman, you don't want to play the end in the beginning. And that's something that Larnell was so brilliant to really reinforce. He wanted to make sure that Margaret was essentially, even though they're the same person, she's the opposite of Chitara. But you also want to lay those little nuances in there. So if you do rewatch it, you'll see little glimpses, it's almost just a little raised eyebrow, little something she does with her voice that you're like, that was kind of cat-like. Like that was something there's a little bit of Chitara in there. And it does take a few times to watch, and you start noticing those little nuances, so that yes, it is a complete twist when all of a sudden she's full of Chitara mode. However, if you really pay attention, she's that's been bleeding out of her soul from the get-go. And I think that is also that helps to be achieved from the voiceover. You're wondering whose perspective is this, and at the end it just melds together. And I actually grew up watching Thundercats and He-Man and all those iconic 80s superheroes, and I'm a big cat fan, so I love cats. So to put on the claws and to be able to embody the feline just really felt natural. Actually, really felt natural.
It certainly looked it. You said the big word here, 80s. We're a different world now. Oh my gosh, we're such a different world, and the notion of the female character is so much more fleshed out, so much more leveled, if you will. The whole concept of what the 80s characters are and the characters today. What influenced you? What did you want to change when you sat down? I say this to both of you. What did you want to change?
Well, I'll let Larnell speak on that one.
Well, the first approach was, I wanted her to find her voice within it when the time was right. I wanted her to fight back when the story developed into the point of, okay, she's had enough. It was just about how do we introduce that without trying to say, watch how strong I am, but it's not time yet. Watch how vulnerable I can be. But at the same time, it was kind of borderline, tough to wonder, was she being abused? And that's what I wanted people to take away from it, by the mystery of somebody who seems to be caring and kind and gentle and passionate about different things. And those little subtleties, I'm happy, everybody understood to play with it. It was really key on set, wondering when she couldn't remember and she kind of moved her hands to her side and you saw what looked like a mark. Was that mark a bruise? Was that mark supposed to be makeup that should have been covering that up? And to say I love this person so much from Arthur's standpoint was, hey, we don't know if I was abusive to you. Don't remind me of my mistakes. at that point. That's why I was trying to bring the audience to. Was he a type of person that snaps really fast? So her to play so vulnerable, meager, but yet at the same time, Joe just a little fight back, a little frustration. And we had to find those levels on set to make sure, hey, no, 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 we know you're going to amp it up. But, you know, I love that she played with it to the point of teasing small bits. The chewing like an animal, loud, hearing the smacking. You hear that when your cat goes to that bowl.
Yep.
And you just you hear the tongue and the food and those different things. Trying to make sure we were trying to hide her fingers to show that she didn't shave down her nails too much, you know, or the fact that they could extend a little longer. So little things like that we found. Flashbacks. If you mess with an animal, what do? They hide. So notice in the flashbacks, she was curled up in a corner, turning her head away when he was trying to give her food. Little things like that, we were planting seeds. And of course, when she finally became who she is, she went and had a glass of milk. And that's when it was time to go out in the world. Like, hey, I got my milk, let's go. You know, so I like that she embodied all of that, her femininity, her toughness, vulnerability. And, you know, she found the right balance for everything.
And how about you? The 80s, when you first looked at this, when you first looked at the script, and then you hearkened your memory back to the Thundercats, and you went on YouTube and found or Nick at Night and found the old cartoons of it. What did you say? What did you say? I'm keeping that. No, that has to change. I have to fix that. I have to talk about that. What sparked in your brain regarding updating this character?
I grew up watching He-Man, X-Men, X-Men in the 90s, but a lot of these female characters really fit. They fell into these textbook female over-sexualized heroine tropes, such as Chitara and like size melon chest and like Rogue. Just everything is like skin tight, and they're always allying up to the male storyline. They never get their own their own piece of the pie that's significant. And times have changed. Now it's like, hey guys, we're half the population and we have just as much shit going on as you, so maybe we should tell that story. Which is why I really fell in love with Larnell's writing and Larnell's story, because you do empathize with her. You do get inside her world. And you're no longer looking at this as this is a woman hero. This is a person seemingly going through trauma. And you want to see how the story unfolds. So bringing that humanity, not just as a woman, but as a person, and really equalizing the playing field. And that's something that I truly believe Tate did a brilliant job of as well, because he played it. He was almost like this really creepy, wonderful Santa Claus in a way, because he was so empathetic and he really cared about his wife. And then as soon as there's that turn where he's like, he basically said, no, that didn't go well. And the camera slowly pans in. You're like, whoa, I don't know if I like that very much. Yeah. But because of those undertones, it really allowed her to react accordingly. So once again, reiterating my response to your question is that I wanted to live up to the expectation of these badass female heroines, but also bring humanity to it, which you didn't necessarily see in the 80s the way that you do nowadays.
Yeah.
So there's the big question. I always ask, are you a genius on purpose or by accident? And
doesn't matter, right?
There you go. The end product is the end product. Did you realize because I had to, once I saw the reveal, I said, okay, rewind, let's watch this again. And that's, I completely agree with you. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Oh no, okay. It just suddenly made sense in the most subtle ways. Did you, when you started this is a real parable of the evolution, if you will, of the woman today, of the female today, because you see, like you said, this oppressive under the male thumb if you will, and then she bursts out to be this great heroic character. And it's a real parable. And the fact that there's a little abuse in there, we're talking very timely on that. Was this, did you, best way to put it, when you watch the movie afterwards, did you go, oh, that's good, I didn't realize, or did you go, that's the exact thing I wanted?
Well, you know, it's really funny. I always seem to play these characters, these characters that end up going through trials and tribulations, trauma, and then they end up being these larger than life heroines. And sometimes they're not so larger in life. I've done things that are more based in reality, but plenty of episodics where a woman is going through a lot of trauma and then ends up like it could cost her her life by defending herself. And then characters like Saxa from Spartacus or Echo from Matrix, like those are badass ass kicking women, like no question about it. Despite a whole slew of men chasing after them on rooftops with automatic weapons. But it isn't strange territory for me at all. So which is why I feel like it wasn't something that I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. I was like, this is my wheelhouse. This is my wheelhouse to play this ingenue and then become this fierce character at the end. It's what I absolutely love to do.
Ronell, how about you? When you wrote this, when you created this piece, did you say, I have a parable here that I want to tell? Or when it was done, did you look at it and say, oh, I have created a parable from this? Were you an accidental genius or an on purpose genius?
Oh, no, I wouldn't even call it that. I would just say a grown kid happy to be able to express himself and find people who believe in my ability to express stories on film now, which is what I'm grateful for, because all these ideas are always floating in my head. What's next, what to do. And I'm one of those people that you have to create opportunities for yourself sometimes. But in the field I'm in now, which I'm grateful to be established in my field, so to speak, of, stunts or action directing, to put your name on something, says this is who I am as a storyteller. And I said, well, people know I can do action. So this wasn't about action in this. It was more about telling a great story and to say, what is a version that if the time came, if some producer said, what are we going to do with the Thundercats IP? What's next? How do we bring this to this audience? What do we say, how they would function in this day and age? Well, here's an example. Here's one character. This is her journey. She crash landed, lost her memory. This guy found her. He's widowed himself, lonely, misses love, thinks this is a second chance from God, if you believe in God, and he thought, hey, I can love her into who was the love of my life, just treat her a certain way, make her look a certain way. So he invested a lot of time into her becoming his Margaret. And all the while, her innate feeling says, this isn't right. There's something weird about this. This is not who I am. What you're telling me to do and how to present myself, something's just inside of me, keeps fighting this, but I can't remember last year who I was. I know you now, but I don't know who you are, and to keep being tormented each day with saying, I love you, but I can't say I love you back, and in the response or seeing somebody show affection and care for somebody. And that's why, I wanted to make sure the twists were slow, that there was really nothing for you to go, aha, until the flashbacks. I wanted to make sure that when she went in that bathroom, was he really giving her medicine? Is he truly concerned? Is he a little just overprotective? Is he protecting her from herself? Or do you wind up feeling sorry for her, but then she doesn't take the pill, spits him out, and she could come out this raving demonic monster until you realize who it is. So I wanted to make sure it was always on the cusp of what are we watching and what is this going to turn into? And, oh, get him. Look what he did to her. Look what he did to her, where it could have went another way. But the direction I wanted was, hey, I'm a fan of it, the IP itself. I wanted to introduce something grounded and that could seem like this really could happen. Like if someone said, hey, could this be a series? Yes, it could. And plus you get a chance to express each of these characters if they split up, if they ship broke apart, and all of a sudden their pods landed in different areas. And now they have to take in the human experience. What is that like? I have something for each one of them. Everybody has their own adventures. Everybody has something that they went through. This is her story. That's why I really didn't want it to be overpowered with action. I wanted to be something you walk away from and go, wow, I could see this now. I never knew that about Chitara. I never was able to connect with her. They never gave her that much life in the cartoon. So I would love to sit down and watch a 55-minute episode of her. You know, what happened to her once she landed before I go to another character. So that was my approach. And I think we did a great job. It was great teamwork. And I love the story that was developed, but seeing these people bring it to life, you know, her and Tate just killed it beyond belief. And to Tate's credit, man, he called me when I first sent it to him, and all he wanted to do was discuss character. And I love that because, you know, he was like, yeah, I'm always cast as this, cast as that. So if we're going to do this, I want to make sure we take the right approach to this. What's his method? What's his body language? What's his demeanor towards her? How is he really, what's his thought process? And I answered a few questions, and then he went off on his own, did his research, and came back this soft, gentle soul that, you know, was truly just trying to, you know, keep love in his life. And I hope people take that away from him. That's why I didn't want him to go or a bad guy, you know, all of a sudden. Like, I knew it. He
Right.
was always in that gray area. And I love that he stayed there. Like, even when he did some pickups for me and he added that line, "You are mine," is like he was losing the reality of the fantasy he developed. That little thing just said, I don't want to let you go. I'm
Right.
fighting you right now, but I'm not going to let go of the reality I created, even though it's a fantasy.
Right. It's the empathetic nuances that he played so well that even up to Chitara having her hand on his throat, like ready to just do a death blow, he's just like, you reminded me so much of her. And you see this flashback where he's picking her up. You're like, I'm empathizing with this kidnapper right now.
Yeah.
It just it throws your brain and your heart into a tailspin because you're like, it when she's finally fighting against him, you're like, yeah, go Chitara. Oh my God, he's held you captive. But then at that last moment, you're like, wow, I really empathize with him. And
Yeah.
I don't Tate on and off through the years. My husband's in the stunt industry as well, a fellow coordinator, and I've just known Tate from his work. And of course, he's just this big burly badass. And not unlike my husband, like I've seen just this softer, wonderful, sweet side of him. And when I brought that up to Larnell, I'm like, I just have a feeling about Tate. Like he's actually a really great actor, and he's
Mhm.
been in everything, but he gets like just a few lines here and there. And I just really wanted to see more of him. I knew that there was something, you know, lurking underneath that the world should see.
What's great about Ellie mentioning this right now is she's the one who brought Tate up, because originally I was going in a direction like the gentleman from the Human Centipede, part two. I was going in
I've
that
seen either one
direction.
of them, but I'll take care.
Yeah, no. So to her credit, you know, she made me rethink the casting, because I was thinking about going for someone, you know, short and pudgy and, you know, not so much of the ladies' man, so to speak, to basically have you always going, how did he get her? To make you on the edge of your seat going, wait, something's wrong. There's no in the world that's his wife. That can't. Okay, I gotta watch this. How are they married? But just the look alone of that would probably make you go, yeah, there's a big twist coming. There's a big twist coming, because he should not be married to her. That's how far off I was going to go with it, that it might have been too on the nose that something's up.
It could have still
You
worked.
know,
It could have
yeah,
still
that's
definitely.
that's what I like what about Tate, that you don't question that, you know, that okay, this you know, this could work. It don't look like an odd couple, or you know, this could never happen. As to I was going to go a direction at first that you might go, nah, something's up. He's 5'1", she's 5'10", 11. Nah, no way, no way. There's just something weird here. So I'm really happy she brought up Tate, because I did have other actors on standby that I was thinking about going with who fit that model that I thought fit the story. But then he came with such tenderness and care that his size didn't matter, you
Right. No,
know?
Oh,
like
but his
physically,
size did matter. That's the thing. If we went the way you said, yes, that's we expect that. Then it becomes that psychopathic sort of thing. What is that little guy doing with this beautiful woman? But it increased the tension of it because we see this powerful man being very soft, but still he's a powerful man. So we're saying, wait a minute, all right, fine. What's wrong with this picture? So you had us tense frame one.
very true. Yeah, you could feel the tension frame one, and also Tate is so capable physically, and he can get choreo like that. So literally in between setups, we were doing choreo and just going through everything, and in that way we didn't have to worry about a double or anything like that. So you don't have to cut away and try to.
So grateful for
Very
that.
funny.
So
There was
grateful for that.
so many lines that he had. Now, Margaret, no, remember to use your fork or whatever.
No,
And
no.
yes, to see a little guy go, remember to use you're saying, okay, I think I know what this movie is. But to see this big guy, remember that fork, you go, wait a minute, uh-oh. And,
Well,
and it's really fascinating, really fascinating.
Even when he goes like you do to a cat, like
yeah,
little things like that, which is
Oh,
really
that's
Yeah.
good. That's right.
yeah, little stuff was snuck in like that. But also, I had to trim it down by 5 minutes. There was more dialogue. There was more dialogue. There was more little things of isms he was doing with her, corrections and different things to build the tension up more. And certain things I didn't feature the way I wanted to, because sometimes you could just fall in love with looks and it doesn't move the story, just cool angles of certain things. Like, for example, I don't know if many people caught it, that he had silverware, she had plastic while she was eating. That was on purpose.
little things like that.
Yeah, and you're wondering, because what I did is I made a deal of him nodding to her, like, you have permission to eat. And he picks up his stuff, and it was a nice shot of him with silverware and her with plastic. And it's like a seed being planted of, wait, this is weird, but you had to stay along for the ride. Of course, if she had silverware, she probably could fight back and kill him. That's where I looked at it as, that he wouldn't dare give her a fork. He wouldn't dare give her a real butter knife. Hell, Chatar might be able to kill him with a spoon if it's steel. So I was trying to plant that seed later. Maybe somebody might go back and go, that's why he had a real fork, and that's why she had plastic. Little stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, where's this going? Now, this is what they call the proof of concept sort of film. So where do you want it to go? Who should see this? What should they know about it?
It's so funny you say that, because to me, I feel like I'm slowly building a universe. And while I'm slowly trying to build this universe, myself, I'm on my own path for directing stuff. And there's some things I can't talk about yet that are coming up. And I'm torn right now, where I may decide to put together an entire season of where these characters go, or I might shoot another one with another character or two and truly flesh it out and say, good, here's my world, then package it. So I'm in a crossroads right now. I love this story. I love where we head. And I do think I've expressed this enough to say you can take them seriously. You can put them in real world situations and still allow them to be Thundercats. It's either somebody surviving, somebody captured, somebody simply finding out who they are amongst this world, and somebody else is like a hermit trying to find the team and put everybody back together and see how do they survive on Earth instead of third Earth. I figured put them amongst other humans where, we are sometimes the biggest monsters. We are sometimes the worst creatures around. So you don't have to always go alien or what's this species, or it'll be cool if you went, the monsters, you're not being, I understand that, trust me. And I feel weird now because now I'm the director changing canon to something that wasn't, true to what Third Earth was, where they ran across other species and other different things. But that's not to say somebody might not have a certain person in a tube taking their blood, experimenting, and maybe creating creatures that might be happening. Maybe.
That's very Gotham. That sounds like how the TV series Gotham created Gotham City's eerie group of people.
Interesting. Interesting.
Very clever.
But like I said, there's many ways you can go with this because, our scientists sometimes are good, sometimes could be, a little with everything that's going on right now. You just never know. So you put these human-like cats in a weird situation with people that can't accept them, or they have to hide out, or they have to find a different place and create their own lair, their own different way of living. There's many ways this can go. Of course, when you get government involved, you get the military, you get all these different mercenaries, you get people who want to capture them, people want to experiment on them. There's so many ways this could go, and I won't give any much more than that away. That's all I can say.
But basically, the word out there is that this could be an entire universe of characters and storylines for each that can go in so many directions.
Yes.
And that can be so powerful for an audience to enjoy.
Yes, definitely. That's why I'm thinking about maybe giving this another go and packaging everything together. Because sometimes, you can have a good story, and this is a great story. The first one was more action-packed with Panthro. This one's really, really strong concerning story where someone can take this really serious and go, okay, I see what you're doing with these characters now. I truly see where this could go, how you're giving each person their own individual personality, story, challenges, trauma, having to overcome different things. I've never seen them like this. I would have never thought of them in this way because you don't want them portrayed as caricature, so to speak. You
Right.
want to feel like there's humanity within them because they speak English, they have human-like bodies. Yes, their features might have a few longer nails and a few longer teeth here and there, but I'm happy I went this route with my second choice of Chitara as my second expression because she was the most human-looking one, if you think about it, besides the kids, that she could literally pull her hair up, pull her hair down, put a little makeup on. Guess what? She looks like some gorgeous female walking down Fifth Avenue in New York. That's what I loved about it. So it was easy to create Margaret. And I think you saw it in the credits when it rolled, how you saw the Margaret picture and a Chitara picture. When I saw that makeup test, it blew me away because I saw it in my head, but to see it come to life, I was just like, yeah, I got to do this. I have to do this.
And we're all glad you did. I'd like to be the voice of Schnarf, if you don't mind, when you get to that character.
Oh, man.
It's a pleasure to speak to both of you. This was really thrilling to watch. I wish you all the luck. Keep in touch. Let me know what goes on with this. I think a Thundercats universe would be marvelous. And I think you leading it off would be incredible.
Well, I got to take Ellie with me and my boy who played Panthro, that's for sure.
Well, the funny thing is Larnell and I have actually known each other for, oh my God, nearly 20 years.
Oof. Oof. Go ahead, you let it out. Let it out.
One of the first movies I ever did is a film called Roadhouse 2. And Larnell was the fight coordinator, and then JJ Perry was the stunt coordinator, and Sammy Hargrave was one of the lead doubles. And now all of you boys have gone on. I say boys. I always call them boys.
That's okay. She's like a mama figure.
Yes, I know. I'm like my babies. You guys have gone on to direct some of the largest franchises in history, and you guys have just absolutely exploded and underneath the incredible umbrella of 8711 Action Design, of course. And it's just kismet and such an incredible honor for our paths to once again cross the way that they were meant to, on and off the mat.
and ladies and gentlemen, that was 20 years ago when Ellen was 6 and Larnell was 7.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
so there you go.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
This was really terrific. Thank you so much. Can't wait to hear what happens further with this.
Hey, thank you. I really hope that I really hope to continue the expression of this world. It deserves to be brought to life the right way.
For sure. For sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and stay safe out there.
All right. Take care and thanks again.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.